Journey to the Alicorn Land, Chapter 3, A Royal Meeting. The storm had passed, and every pony was still unconscious on board Mirestream. But then suddenly Sparky slowly wakes up, looks around. He was in the back when they hit the tree. He looked around for his dad Hitch, even when he was a little at daze. But he walked slowly to the front of the craft and found his dad and the others passed out on the floor. He walked up to his dad and poked him on his chin to wake up. Eventually, slowly, Hitch started to regain consciousness and slowly sat up. He was confused of why he was on the floor, and then after a moment, he remembered the storm and the crash. And then he saw Sparky. "Sparky, are you okay, buddy?" Hitch looked at his son all over, but luckily there were no serious injuries, other than that he was a little dizzy. As Hitch stood up, he saw out of the window. The storm was over, and they were in a forest. He walked over to the others to wake them up. "Sonny, please wake up!" "What happened?" "Mirestream crashed in the forest, but we were all unconscious." "Are you okay, Hitch?" "Yes, I'm fine. Just small bump on my head, but I'm okay." How are you though?" "I'm okay. A little dizzy, but I will be fine." He walked over to the others to see how they were doing. While Sparky hugged Sonny, soon every pony had walked up, checked if they had any injuries, but luckily there were no serious injuries. "What time is it?" asked Zip. "The clock says it's 4 a.m. "Is it that late?" "We must have passed out for hours," said Pip. "What should we do now?" asked Misty. "Nothing we can do. We will wait until tomorrow. We will look around as soon as the sun is up," said Zip. "Zip is right. I think we should try to get some sleep," said Sonny. "As if we would get some sleep after being passed out," said Misty. "We had to try, or at least it won't help us if we're tired in the morning." "He's right. At least we should give it a try," said Zip. They all went back of Mirestream, and they went straight to their bunks to get some sleep. Even they all lay down, they tried really hard to get some sleep. But they didn't fall asleep right away, but it took about half an hour before they falling asleep. But the next morning, they all woke up around 9 a.m. Misty and Pip prepared for breakfast, while Zip went outside to determine how bad the damage was after the crash. It was a small dent in front of the Mirestream, but it was something that they could repair later. "Breakfast is ready," said Izzy. "We're coming, Sonny," said Sonny. They went back inside to eat breakfast, and there was a silence between while they were eating. "What are we going to do now?" asked Izzy. "There is no serious damage to the Mirestream, so that's a good thing. But I suggest we explore the area, determine where we are. I think it's a good idea. If this is Skyros, we might see Alicorn," says Sonny. "But should all of us go, or should some of us stay behind?" asked Pip. "I should say it's best that some of us goes and the rest of us stay behind just in case." "Who should go then?" asked Izzy. "Of course Sonny would go since she has Alicorn magic, so she might be able to convince them. And me, and I'm convincing too, if it comes to it. I think I should stay behind with Hitch and Pip. What do I have to stay behind? I want to go too. It's probably best that only a few of us goes." Pip looked at Sonny, and she knew Sonny had a good point. They needed to keep Sparky safe. They had no idea how the Alicorns would react if they saw a baby dragon among them. I think that sounds a good idea. When will you be going? Asked Hitch. I think after breakfast will be a good idea. I think it will we can take Izzy with us. Yay! I can go too! Izzy, remember the reason why we're here. I know, Sonny. I'm just excited, that's all. It's settled. Then we will leaving shortly. After breakfast, they took all care of the dishes and Pip put a backpack with some things like food just in case. They will be gone. They didn't know how long they would be gone. Then they left the others behind and walked into the forest. They walked around and saw animals similar to like back home. They wondered how big this forest could be and if they would find any sign of civilization soon or not. After half an hour of walking, the forest slowly opened and they could see big open meadows as far as they could see. It looks amazing here. At least not a wasteland. Or it sank in the ocean, said Izzy. Izzy laughed after she said that. Though we don't know if this is actually Skyros, or the question is where you could go now. They all looked at a different direction, and Sipton pointed one direction, and they could go and could go. Both Sunny and Izzy agreed. They continued walking. And meantime at Midstream, Hitch was playing games with Sparky, while Misty and Pip played cards. This is boring. I wish they could go too. I know, Pip, we all agreed that this for the best, that some of us stay behind just in case, said Hitch. He's right, Pip. They won't be gone that long, though. Pip nodded, and then would continue to play cards with Misty. As Hitch was playing with Sparky, he looked quickly out of the window and thought to himself that he hopes that Sunny is doing okay. Sunny, Izzy, and Zip had been walking for a while. Soon they found a road. So that was the first sign that some pony lived here. Question is, who? Perhaps we are in Skyros after all. It's possible, but we haven't seen any of the residents here yet. Let's walk this way. Let's see what it was to take us. They walked the road, but soon they heard something. They looked up, and they saw two flying figures, and they quickly saw it was Alicorns. Halt! Who are you there? And what brings you here to Skyros? This is really Skyros? Yes, this is Skyros. Now tell me who you are and where you're from, since we haven't seen you here before. I'm Sunny Star Scout, and this is my friend Izzy Moonbow, Zip Storm. We are from Equestria. The Alicorns looked at each other, puzzled, and back at Sunny. Sir, we should bring them with us to the capital, so they can see the king, said Golden Star. All right, you three, follow us, said Sharpshield. Is it far to the city? Golden Star said, it's not that far from here. They decided to follow the guards, and even Zip was high alert since she wasn't sure if they could trust them or not. She wasn't sure if they were prisoners or guests. But soon they arrived in a big city, and to their surprise, the city was like Zephyr Heights, even modern technology too. At least that answered one of the questions, if they had technology or not, said Sunny. Yep, that they did for sure, said Sunny and Izzy. Soon they entered the big city, which they later learned the name was Alonius. As they walked, they looked around and they saw regular ponies. They were a bit surprised at that, but at least they answered one of the questions. Soon they were taken to the royal palace. While inside, the two guards told them to wait outside, and one of them walked in the throne room. Wonder what's gonna happen to us? Asked Sunny. I think they will welcome us here, though? Said Izzy. We will learn about it shortly, said Zip. Soon, the other guard came back and told them to follow him into the front room. As they walked up to it, they saw to the king, they saw beautiful stained glass windows. Soon, they stood in front of the king, and next to him sat two young stallions, who turned out to be the crown prince and a younger prince. The crown prince looked to be close to their age. They were a little nervous with standing in front of them. Your Highness, let me introduce you to Sunny Star Scout, Isumumbo Zip Storm from Equestria. The king looked at them and gave them a gentle smile while looking at them. Welcome, my dear ponies, to Skyros. We have even had visitors in Equestria in over 1,000 years. We are grateful to be here. It's an honor to be here, said Sunny. The pleasure is mine. So tell me, what brings you here to our land? We came here that we want to learn more about the Alicorns and meet you all and possible establish a friendship between our lands, said Zip. I can understand that. Let me introduce you to my sons. This is my eldest son, Prince Garnet Gleam, and my youngest son, Prince Star Rush. It's a pleasure to meet you all, said Garnet Gleam. Are we prisoners or guests here? Asked Zip. Of course you are our guests, Garnet. Why don't you show our guests to their rooms and tell the chef to prepare a meal for us? Of course, Dad. I will take care of that. Excuse me if I interrupt, but I should mention that we are not the only ones here, but our friends are still by our transport. I can send some guards to pick them up. We appreciate it. And one more thing, one of them is a baby dragon. That shouldn't be a problem. We have dragons here, Skyros too, said Garnet Gleam. Now, if you come with me, I will take you to your rooms. They followed the prince, and soon he took them to their rooms. After the prince had left, Itzy and Sunny met in Zip's room. They decided to give Pip a call. Let's hope it worked, though. I'm sure it will. Zip dialed her sister's number, and they waited for a few seconds before she got an answer back from Pip. Zip, is that you? Are the others three okay? Yes, Pip, we're fine. We're in the Alicorn City, and the king here is going to send some guards to take you all here as guests. What about Sparky? Should we be worried about him? Asked Hitch. Not at all. Not at all, Hitch. They told us it's fine, said Izzy. They should be there soon, since we told them about where you are. We will see you soon, shortly, don't worry, said Sunny. They could see that Pip was a little scared, but they assured her it was nothing to worry about. And within a short time, the friends had arrived to the palace. They were greeted in the front room, and Hitch saw Sunny and ran up to her and gave her a hug. I'm so glad that you're safe, Sunny. Of course I'm safe. Dear guest, let me take you to our dining hall. It's time to celebrate. He took them to the dining hall, and they all sat down. Soon, the servants arrived with all kinds of food. Sunny and her friends were stunned to see the amount of food and what kind they had been offered. Now, every pony, let's eat. You will like if this food is really good, said Garnet Gleam. Especially this pasta dish, said Star Rush. Star Rush pointed a bowl with some pasta in it. Sunny and her friends looked at all the food, and they had no idea from which one to start with, since it all looked so good to them. While they were eating the amazing food together, Sunny couldn't believe this is not the only that they found the Alicorns, but they were so friendly. Tell me, Sunny, what made you to come to Skyros to learn about us? Sunny said, after learned Celestia Luna were once from here, and there was not much info of the Alicorns back home, and even when we encountered one recently too. Who was it that you encountered in Equestria? Her name was Opolina Kana, said Pip. Suddenly the whole dining room went turned silent. The servants dropped some trays, and the king looked shocked and looked at Sunny and her friends. Tell me, is she still there? Yes, she is, but she's trapped inside in her own together tree, and it took away her cutie mark, so she won't be bothering any pony again. King Arbor still looked a little concerned of this revealed news. How well do you know Opaline? Asked Zip. Opaline used to be part of the society here until a few centuries ago, but we banished her, and since she went to your land. Yes, and she caused a rift between the pony kind, and after that we lost our magic for a few hundred years after that, said Sunny. But it wasn't until a year ago. We reunited again thanks to Sunny and her friends, and all magic came back to us. And now Sunny is an Alicorn. Both King Arbor and his sons looked at Sunny puzzled of Misty's statement of her being an Alicorn. She doesn't look like an Alicorn though. No wings, no horn, said Starrush. I am an Alicorn, but I can summon them at any time. How that's even possible? I have never heard anything like it, said King Arbor. It's kind of a long story, but I can tell you it, said Zip. Zip then began to tell the king and his sons the story, or led up to that. They listened carefully, and after Zip was finished, they all sat in silence. That's quite a story. I'm glad that Opaline is gone, so she won't be hurting anyone else. I agree with you, Dad. Hearing the stories made me think that she's one of us can be evil. Who would say that no pony else could be? Said Garnet Gleam. Only greed or hunger of power can get to that, said Izzy. That's true, said Garnet Gleam. After they had changed the topic about things in Equestria, how it's like their homes, their families, I think I will do an announcement later about our guest. I would appreciate it if you will be there with me. Of course, we wouldn't mind at all. Afterwards, they were shown to their rooms. They were relaxing for a little while since it had been a lot to take in. They finally had reached Skyros, made new friends with the royal family. It was like a dream that came true for Sunny. Sunny stood by the window in her room, looked out to the city with a smile. Dad, I made it here. I wish you could have been here with me to see this amazing place. You would have loved it. At the same time were Pip and Zip in their room, and which they were sharing with their something. Then Pip had requested, and the king had approved it. As they were standing in their room together, Pip thought of something. Perhaps we should try to call Mom. Since you could call me earlier, perhaps calling home could work too. It's worth a try, said Zip. Zip picked up her phone and started dialing their mom, and after first it looked like it was not going to work. But then their mom picked up the call. Girls, are you two okay? I've been bored for days. Yes, Mom, we're okay over here in Skyros. You've really found Skyros? Yes, Mom. We find it, and we met the king of the Alicorns too, and his sons are also kind. We are guests we're in our guest room right now. Zip showed the room and the window to their mom so that she could see the city looked like. She pointed out it looked similar to their own city. I'm glad that you two and your friends are okay. How long will you be there? We thought of staying here for a couple of days at least. Please call me soon too. And tell me hello to your friends from me. We will do that, Mom. After that, Zip hanging up the call, both of them were at least happy that they had told their mom about them. so she wouldn't have to be worried so much. After that, since it was still early noon, Sunny wasn't sure what to do next. She thought to take a walk around in the palace would have been interesting, so she went to Hitch's room. Hitch opened the door, and Sparky was on his back. "Hey, Sunny, do you want something?" "Yes, I wanted to ask if you wanted to join me for exploring the palace." "I'm up for it, since I have nothing else to do." Sunny smiled, and they left, and they started walking around in the palace. It was a quite big palace with multiple floors, many rooms. They found a library, palace garden, and many other rooms. They walked around for a while until they were approached by Prince Garnet Gleam. "Excuse me, my dad is requesting you and your friends come to the balcony within 20 minutes. He is going to do his announcement. We will be there, and we will go tell the others about it." Prince Garnet Gleam nodded and thanked them and left. Sunny and Hitch hurried back to the others to inform them about the news. When they got there, the rooms they were okay. They went to the front room. There they met Garnet Gleam, and who took them to the balcony where his dad was already presented. "Good, you're all here. I'm ready to make my announcement. We are here and ready to help make our part." The others nodded, and the king walked out on the balcony. "My dear fellow Alicorns, I have an announcement to make today. We had some guests from faraway land. These ponies have traveled all the way from Equestria, and I want all you to make them welcome to our land as honorable guests. Now, let me introduce you to Sunny Star Scout, Izzy Moonbow, Pip Petals, Zip Storm, Hitch Trailblazer, Mystery Bright Dawn, and Sparky." That was the signal, and they all walked out to the balcony and stood next to the king and started waving to every pony who was looking below. "Sunny, do you want to say something to every pony?" "Of course, Your Highness." Sunny walked closer to the edge of the balcony and looked down to every pony below her. "First, me and my friends are honored to be here. We couldn't have imagined to find all of this. We didn't know if Skyros was still inhabited, cause back home, knowledge of Skyros was really hard to find. But we are happy to be here. Not only that we find it, but also this as a dream that came true for me. And we're hoping to start a peaceful friendship between our lands, and all of you are welcome to over to Equestria at any time. That's all I want to say. Thank you all once again. It's an honor to be here." Sunny stepped back to her friends, and the king nodded to her as approval of her speech. And then he walked up to the edge again. "I'm glad for our guests to have made it all here. We will value their kindness and their friendship, since that's something that we want the most." After that, the whole crowd was cheering for the king's speech. After that, they all walked back into the front room. "That was a speech, Your Highness," said Hitch. "It was a good speech. I have them often, though. But you're welcome to stay here as long as you want. We appreciate that, King Arbor, but we might return home soon to our own homes." "I understand, but stay as long as you want." The king bowed and left the front room. Sunny and her friends went back to their rooms, and Sunny felt so excited to have found Skyros. She was excited to be able to study the Alicorn culture up closer and learn more about them. Later in the evening, they all were invited for dinner. Sunny and her friends had a good time with them too. "What do you think about the dinner?" asked King Arbor. "It's really good, actually," said Hitch. "Reminds me of the food when I grew up back home in the Bridalwoods, Sunny. It was Itzy." "It's good. It's very delicious," said Sunny. "Sunny, I can see you have a question on your mind." "Yes, I actually have. How come there are regular ponies living here?" "I can answer that for you. When Celestians and Luna were chosen as the new rulers of Equestria a long time ago, both our lands were living in harmony. Travels between our lands were constant. So some ponies settled down here and remained here ever since. What happened to the break between our lands in the first place? Asked Hitch. With time, we simply lost contact. We drifted apart, and it remained like that until today. Why didn't you send a ship over to Equestria to re-establish contact again? Asked Zip. It was hard times for us when we suffered some hardships with famine, so we focused on it. And with time, we forgot on the original plan. Were any pony forbidden to go over to Equestria? Asked Pip. Not at all. Any pony could go there at any time, but we had everything we needed even after famine, as said Garnet Gleam. But we are glad that we had re-established our friendship once again. The king smiled at Sunny and her friends, and they all nodded and smiled back to him. I propose we make a toast to our new friends and reconnection, said Garnet Gleam. I agree with that, says Issy. Every pony raised their glasses and enjoyed the dinner. Later, they all went to their rooms for after a long day. Sunny stood by the window, looked out. She was smiling and she was happy to be in Skyros. She is excited to be able to study their culture closely. She went to bed and lay down. She was curious about the next day will bring her and her friends. Given the chance to learn more about the Alicorns and bring it back home is a chance that Sunny wouldn't give up. Tomorrow, I'm going to the palace library to read and learn as much as I can about the Alicorn's history and some other parts. Dad, you would have loved to be here to study the history too. Since you spent so much time to study and research of Equestria's history, to prove that all three pony kinds once were friends, to be real, and you were right. With those words, Sunny fell asleep. She was smiling her sleep. With that, her dream came true, that they had found Skyros and its Alicorns, with curiosity of what the next day will bring her and her friends.